الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: من حفظ 10 آيات من أول سورة الكهف عصم من الدجال، أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Honorable ulama, respected elders and dear brothers in Islam, first and foremost, I take this opportunity to remind myself and each and every person sitting here of the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For indeed, it is through the consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that one attains success in this world and the hereafter. Respected elders and dear brothers in Islam, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this auspicious day, the day of Friday, known to be the festival of the week. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has again given us the opportunity to not only witness this day, but also to gather in His house on this day to listen to a few words about Him and a few ayats from the Quran and the ahadith of our beloved Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So let us be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this opportunity. Respected elders and dear brothers in Islam, there are many a'mal, many actions prescribed to us by our beloved Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam on this day. And one such amal, one such action is the recitation of Surah Al-Kahf. MashaAllah, many a person sitting here would have recited it. And if we haven't, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us opportunity till Maghrib today. The day of Friday started from Maghrib yesterday, and it will carry on till Maghrib today. So those who haven't can take the opportunity till Maghrib to read this auspicious surah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam so beautifully mentioned, this is a riwayat that comes in Sahih Muslim, that man hafidha 10 ayatin min awwal surah al-Kahf, one who memorizes 10 verses from the beginning of Surah Al-Kahf, usima min al-Dajjal, he is safeguarded from Dajjal. This is a riwayat of Muslim. And a riwayat that comes in Bayhaqi further elaborates it, that one who reads or memorizes the first 10 verses of Surah Kahf, he is safeguarded from the fitna of Dajjal. And وَمَنْ قَرَأَ الْكَهْفَ فِي يَوْمِ الْجُمُعَةِ حُفِظَ مِنَ الْجُمُعَةِ إِلَى الْجُمُعَةِ. One who recites Surah Al-Kahf, and we know if we recite Surah Al-Kahf on a weekly basis, slowly but surely we will end up memorizing the surah. So the memorization part will also come in, but one who recites, he hasn't memorized but is reciting on a weekly basis, then one who recites Surah Al-Kahf on a day of Friday, he is being protected till the next Friday. He's been protected from the fitna of Dajjal, and ulama explain from various fitnas, he's been protected till the next Friday. And وَإِذَا أَدْرَكَهُ الدَّجَّالُ لَمْ يَضُرَّهُ, if in that week Dajjal happens to become apparent, then Dajjal cannot affect such a person. Subhanallah, what a big virtue. The fitna of Dajjal is something that each and every Nabi warned his ummah. It's such a big fitna. Yes, when it comes to Dajjal, the Prophet ﷺ has made it very clear that you cannot confuse Dajjal with Allah, because Dajjal is one-eyed and Allah is not one-eyed. Yes, but in spite of that, in spite of it being very clear that Dajjal is wrong, and in spite of us having clear information given to us by the Prophet ﷺ that Dajjal is on false, still many a person will be affected by the fitna of Dajjal. And what's the main fitna of Dajjal? He will show right as wrong and wrong as right. And many a Muslim, except the ones who are very firm in their iman, will get trapped in this. And one of those who will be saved from this are those who read Surah Kahf on Friday. Yes, as far as the fitna of Dajjal is concerned, we don't know when Dajjal is going to become born, when he's going to come out. But when we take the minor signs that the Prophet ﷺ has informed us about, we see many a minor sign becoming apparent. And we don't know how far it is till the time of Dajjal. But many prominent ulama explain that although Dajjal hasn't come out, we haven't seen Dajjal yet, the fitna of Dajjal is present in today's time, where falsehood has been decorated and it is shown as the truth, and the truth is shown as falsehood. And this we witness in many countries, and we have been witnessing it in our countries in the last few years, where there is an environment of Islamophobia. There is no doubt in the fact that Islam is a deen of haqq. There's no doubt. It is a true deen. But Islam has been misinterpreted and been shown in a way that Islam is not good for humanity. And this, my respected elders and brothers, is the Dajjali test. Those with strong iman will survive. Otherwise, may Allah protect each and every one of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our youth. We have seen many a youth in the past few years who apparently might have Islamic names, but from inside they have left the fold of Islam. This is the Dajjali test. So the Prophet ﷺ says, Allah protects that person from this Jummah till the next. So we'll have hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that those who read this Surah Kahf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect them from all these kinds of fitnas, all these kinds of tests till the next Friday. So my respected elders and brothers, let us bring in that habit. Take out some time. Take out some time. One who is habitually reading it, it will take him 15 to 20 minutes. If not, it will take a maximum of half an hour. Half an hour on this auspicious day of Friday, we take out and read the Surah Al-Kahf. My respected elders and brothers in Islam, yes, when we ponder over why this surah is so virtuous, what is in this surah, then amongst other advices, amongst the tadhkirah, the narrative of the day of Qiyamah, the narrative of Shaitan, his rebuttal that was with Adam alayhi salam, etc. Amongst all that, there are 4 incidents or 4 stories mentioned in Surah Kahf. One is the story of the people of the cave, and another is a story of one of them who had 2 gardens. وَاضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلَ الرَّجُلَيْنِ. Then there's the story of Musa alayhi salam and Khidr. And next is the story of Dhul Qarnayn. And in all these 4 stories, if you look at one common factor, it's the divine decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The divine decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing can go against the divine decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's one of the common messages in all four stories. The ulama in tafasir mention many other aspects. But today in this khutbah, we will try to look at the first story. The surah is named after the story, Surah Al-Kahf. And Kahf, according to many Mufassirin, refers to a cavern or a big cave which one can enter. A big cave which one can enter is called a Kahf. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Kahf mentions the story of the people of Kahf, the youngsters. نَحْنُ نَقُصُ عَلَيْكَ نَبَأَهُمْ بِالْحَقِّ إِنَّهُمْ فِتْيَةٌ آمَنُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ وَزِدْنَاهُمْ هُدًى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we mentioned to you this story. إِنَّهُمْ فِتْيَةٌ آمَنُوا. They were youngsters who had brought Iman, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increased them in hidayah, increased them in guidance. Mufassirin mentioned that they were youngsters after the time of Isa alayhi salam. There are other opinions also, but the majority of the opinion that this was after the time of Isa alayhi salam, that there was a tyrant king by the name of Daqyanus. And during his time there were certain youngsters that were from the progeny of kings and chiefs. And this tyrant king was such that he forced people to worship idols. And they used to have festivals and gatherings for this worship, etc. So on one such occasion of a festival where everyone had gathered, where the king had commanded and ordered everyone to gather in such a festival, these youngsters coming from different families, not knowing each other, they were also there. But when they saw what was happening, their reason told them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspired in their hearts that what was happening was wrong. What was happening was wrong. In fact, the one who is worthy of worship is the one who has created the seven skies and the earth, and He alone should be worshipped. And when they found what was happening was wrong, one by one they left that place and they came and settled under a tree. These were the fitya, these were the youngsters. Fitya referring to youngsters whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about in this surah. Now, from this incident we can take many a lesson. So whilst we learning the incident, we will also look at the lessons that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduces them as youngsters. إِنَّهُمْ فِتْيَةٌ آمَنُوا. They were a group of youngsters. My respected elders and brothers in Islam, youth, young age, is the age that we need to strive for the sake of deen. We need to make effort for the sake of deen. We need to become the close servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today sadly, we are in a fallacy, in a delusion that no, when I get older I will become pious. When I get older I will start praying. When I get older I will start frequenting the masjid. No, my dear respected elders and brothers, my dear youngsters, my dear youth, the time to set the tone is from the young age, because batil is working very hard upon the youngsters. Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Kullu mawludin yuladu ala al-fitra." Every child that is born upon fitrah. It's the environment around him that changes him. Everyone is born with tawheed. According to their natural instinct, they would worship Allah. But it's their environment that changes them. And today, my dear respected elders and brothers, the evil, the batil, their main effort is how we can create an environment for the youngsters that they can come away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A big effort. We are unaware of it, but a big effort is taking place to lead our youngsters away from Islam, away from haqq, away from the truth. So as youth, we need to be alert. We need to have a program, a system, wherein we know that we are safeguarding our iman, like the people of the Kahf did, like the people of the cave did, the youngsters did. Parents need to provide an environment in the house to counter the environment outside. Just because it rains outside When we have some work, we don't sit home saying it's raining, it's raining. No, we take an umbrella, we take some protection and go out. Likewise, we need to give our youngsters that protection so that they can face the world outside. So my dear respected elders and brothers, it's at this time that we need to make effort. That's why the Prophet ﷺ so beautifully says, سَبَعَةٌ يُظِلُّهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي ظِلِّهِ يَوْمَ لَا ظِلَّ إِلَّا ظِلُّهُ. There are 7 such groups that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give them shade on a day when there is no shade, on the day of Qiyamah. When everyone will require shade, one such group is شَابٌ نَشَأَ فِي عِبَادَةِ اللَّهِ. That youngster who spent his youth in the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh my youth, let us turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let us create an environment for ourselves where our iman is safeguarded. Otherwise the world outside wants to snatch our iman away. And my respected elders and brothers, what the youngsters did in order to safeguard their iman, they left that environment of the festival. They left the environment of the festival. They adopted a better environment. Today I've heard many youngsters saying, no, I go with him to that place of vice, but I don't indulge in anything. My dear youth, one day it is going to pull us towards them. How many youth we have spoken to say that, I got into the habit, I was just with the friends, I wasn't I didn't indulge in it, but it's my friends who said, okay, give it a try. And since then, it became a habitual thing. I cannot leave it now. Many youths. So we need to stay away from that environment. We know it's an environment of vice. It could be our friends going towards that environment. We should try to stop our friends. If we can't, we should avoid that environment. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, radiallahu anhu, once he went to a walima. But when he went to a walima, he heard some vices that were happening there. He returned without going there. So he was asked as to why he did not go. He said, Man kathura sawada qawmin fahuwa minhum. One who increases the number. When people are doing vice, if we increase the number, we might not be involved in the vice, but we increase the number. Nabi Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said he's part of it. He is part of it. And he said that one who is happy, who is content with what is happening, kana sharikan. It's as if he is involved with them in that vice. So my dear youth, let us stay away from the incorrect environment of vice. And my dear parents, don't send our youth to the environment of vice. Many a times, for the sake of studies, for the sake of education, we provide an environment for them which is full of vice, where there would be intermingling, where there would be music. And we make an excuse, otherwise how is he going to study? How will he get education? My respected elders and brothers in Islam, we need to decide what we need to give more preference to. Is it education or iman? Today many youth have lost their iman in such an environment. In many educational institutes they have been indoctrinated, and unknowingly they have become atheists. And the parents wouldn't even know about it. Parents at home, father 5 times a day is in the mosque, but his son has lost his faith. Why? We sent them to the wrong environment. We should take them out of the environment, we're sending them to the wrong environment. So my respected elders and brothers, it's important to stay away from vice, that we stay away from the environment of vice. Likewise, my dear youth, it's important that we have good company. Here the people of the cave, the youngsters, when they separated, they all came and sat under a tree. And they did not know each other from before that. They came and sat under a tree and all of them were quiet. They did not know what to say. Don't know if he belongs to the palace of the king. If I reveal my true faith, he will get me called to the king. So no one was revealing. One took the courage and said that if all of us have left the festival and come here, then there must be something common in all of us. Then the other spoke up, yes, I left the festival because what's happening there is wrong. We should worship only one Allah alone, the one who has created the seven skies and the earth and so on. When one said that, the others also agreed, we also have come for the same purpose. And then they united. A friendship was created, a bond was created, they became the brothers of the truth. And ideologically they were united, they found good company. And it's because they found good company that they were able to safeguard their iman. The Prophet ﷺ mentions, إِنَّمَا مَثَلُ الْجَلِيسِ الصَّالِحِ وَجَلِيسِ السُّوءِ كَحَامِلِ الْمِسْكِ وَنَافِخِ الْكِيرِ. That the example and the parable of good company and bad company is like a person who sells or owns musk and a blacksmith who blows into the bellows. The owner of musk, he might gift that musk to you, or he might sell it to you, or the least you would benefit from the pleasant fragrance. And the one who blows into the bellows through the smoke and the fire, he might burn your clothes. And the least that would happen to you, you would get that pungent smell from it. Likewise, we choose the right company, we choose the right friends, we'll get some benefit or other from them. And when we choose the bad friends, as much as we might think, no, I'm strong, I will keep away, I have a resolution, no, I won't go towards it, but bad company will affect. So my dear respected brothers and brothers, my dear youth, let us engage in good company, have good friends who will lead us, who will get us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not those who will take us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these youngsters then gathered and they established a place of worship, and they said, okay, this is where we will come to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they did so. So likewise, we have a place of worship, the masjid. We should frequent the masjid. Today, holiday season, we might be out, we might go out on holiday, but let us not forget the masjid, because this is an environment of angels. And when we are amidst the angels, we get the qualities of the angels. So let us have a habit of frequenting the masjid. From amongst the seven who are given on the shade on the day of Qiyamah, رَجُلٌ قَلْبُهُ مُعَلِّقٌ بِالْمَسْجِدِ, the person whose heart is attached to the masjid. Let us be attached to the masjid. Let us become like the pillars of the masjid. Thereafter, my dear respected elders and brothers, when they started doing this, the people of the city came to know, and they went and reported this to the king, that there are a group of youngsters who are not worshipping idols, they are worshipping something which you have restricted. So the king summoned them, and there they had courage. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them courage. وَرَبَطْنَا عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we strengthen their hearts. إِذْ قَامُوا فَقَالُوا رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لَنْ نَدْعُوَ مِنْ دُونِهِ إِلَٰهًا لَقَدْ قُلْنَا إِذًا شَطَطًا. They said that one Lord, there's only one Lord, who's the Lord or Rabb of the skies and the earth. We are not going to call upon any Lord other than Him. If you are going to do that, then we are doing something which is wrong. And they had the courage to talk against the king. هؤلاء قوم اتخذوا من دونه آلهة لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا. They said, these people, our qawm, they have made ilah, they have made their God other entities besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why don't they bring some proof for what they are worshipping? So they spoke against the king. The king said, if you don't come out of this, I'm going to punish you. Then he gave them some respite. He said, I'll give you a few days to ponder over it. I'll give you a few days to ponder over it, and for you all to come back onto the correct religion according to him. So the king gave them that respite. Now the youngsters decided this is the chance to escape from here. So they all got together and they escaped. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when they separated ways with their people and with what they were worshipping, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded them, فَقْوُوا إِلَى الْكَهْفِ يَنْشُرْ لَكُمْ رَبُّكُمْ مِنْ رَحْمَتِهِ وَيُهَيِّئْ لَكُمْ مِنْ أَمْرِكُمْ مِرْفَقًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded them, go towards the cave. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmat will descend upon you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide you in the correct manner when you are in the cave. And they went away from that environment again. This further explains how they had to leave the environment to safeguard their iman. Yes, today we are not in a situation where we might have to go to the cave. But if we do come into such a situation where we aren't able to worship Allah, and if we stay in that place, then our iman will be gone. Then it's incumbent upon us that we resort to such a place where we can safeguard our iman. Yes, when they went to the cave, the first thing that they did was make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إذا أول فتية إلى الكهف فقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. That when they went to the cave, they made dua, Oh Allah, guide us. آتنا من لدنك رحمة. Oh Allah, send mercy upon us, and you show us the right way. Provide us guidance in our matters. By the respected elders and brothers, it's important that we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a daily basis to show us guidance. Yes, in Surah Fatiha we say Ihdina Sirata al-Mustaqim, but we need to take our time for dua. Last Friday we saw the world gave us an opportunity and gave us offers on one Friday of the year, and everyone was out of their houses, crowding the marketplaces, crowding the malls and stores. Why? There is an offer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us an offer every Friday. Every Friday. There is an hour every Friday. There is a time every Friday where our dua is accepted. My respected elders and brothers, let us engage in dua on this Friday. Let us engage in dua during time of tahajjud, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes down and He says, is there not anyone who asks from me so that I can give him? Is there not anyone who seeks forgiveness so that I can forgive him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is waiting for us to ask. And here we have overslept. Why? We slept late at night, engaging in something which is not beneficial in this world or the hereafter. Let us have the habit of getting up for tahajjud, crying to Allah, asking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, getting the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they made dua and Allah's help came, subhanallah. فَضَرَبْنَا عَلَىٰ آذَانِهِمْ فِي الْكَهْفِ سِنِينَ عَدَدًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we sealed their ears. Generally, sealing the ears means they went into deep sleep. They went into deep sleep. Because when your eyes are closed, you are asleep, but you still can hear some things. But when you can't hear anything, this is a sign that you have gone into deep sleep. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put them into deep sleep. And not only that, وَتَرَى الشَّمْسَ إِذَا طَلَعَتْ تَزَاوَرُ عَنْ كَهْفِهِمْ ذَاتَ الْيَمِينِ وَإِذَا غَرَبَتْ تَقْرِضُهُمْ ذَاتَ الشِّمَالِ وَهُمْ فِي فَجْوَةٍ مِّنْهُ ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ مَنْ يَهْدِ اللَّهُ فَهُوَ الْمُهْتَدِ وَمَنْ يُضْلِلْ فَلَنْ تَجِدَ لَهُ وَلِيًّا مُرْشِدًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He made it such that the sun, when it rose, it avoided the cave. When it set, it avoided the cave. The sun did not go into the cave. Did not enter the cave. The cave either was placed in such a way, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it a karamah, because these were people who had left their homelands for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it was their karamah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it such that the sun did not affect their sleep. And on top of that, they would turn from one side to the other. They would turn from one side to the other as if they were awake, so that they do not get bed sores. And their eyes was open, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, people who would look at them would regard them as awake and they would run away from them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected these. And for how many years? 300 years. They went into a deep sleep for 300 years. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even appointed a dog, وَكَلْبُهُمْ بَاسِطٌ ذِرَاعِهِ بِالْوَسِيلِ, dog who stretched its legs in front of the cave so that it protects them from anything that comes from outside, whether it be humans or animals. And likewise, their eyes were kept open. They were turning from side to side. The sun would not enter inside. People looking at them, an awe would be created in their hearts, and they would not come close to them. This is how the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came. When they took a resolution that we want to stay away from evil, and when they made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even in times of fitna, when we take the steps, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you take the first step. You come to me one hand span, I'll come to you one arm span. You come to me one arm span, I'll come to you two arm spans. You come to me walking, I'll come to you running. We have to take the first step. We take the first step, and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will provide us guidance. And likewise, we know the rest of the story. When they woke up, they sent one person, they sent one person to go and look for azka ta'am, pure food. Here ulama explain that when we are in a place where haram is prevalent, haram food is easily available, whether it be in the city that we are in, or whether it be in the hotel that we are in, haram food is easily available, then it is incumbent upon us that we make research and find out if the food is halal or not. Today, we are taking it very lightly. My respected elders and brothers, if we want our children to grow up with iman, we need to feed them halal food. And just a random person saying that this is halal is not enough. There are two conditions for a person to certify and to say that the food is halal. One, he must have knowledge about halal. If he does not have knowledge, if he doesn't know what's halal and haram, who is he to say that it is halal? And second, he must be a God-fearing person, a God-fearing Muslim. Because if he is not God-fearing to sell his product, he will say it is halal. So my respected elders and brothers in Islam, here the people of the cave, after so many years, they wake up. They're not realizing that it's been so many years, so they send the same coins, but they advise, go and find halal food. And it so happened when they went with those old coins, 300-year-old coins, the king, who was a good king at that time, came to know that yes, these people have gone to sleep before so many years, and he summoned them. And thereto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used them as guidance for others. When they sacrificed for the sake of deen, Allah used them as a guidance for others. During the time of the king, there was a group of people who were debating on the fact that whether the bodies can be resurrected or not. That means after the body is decomposing and decaying, how can they be resurrected on the day of Qiyamah? So the king also was looking for ways to explain to them, and he was making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that time awakened these, and the king summoned them, and he found out about them. Then the king summoned the rest, or the king himself went to the cave to meet the rest. And then when the people saw that these people who had passed away or who had gone missing 300 years ago are still alive, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept their body just as there's nothing wrong with their body. It's as if they're just waken up from their sleep a day ago. So when they saw this, they said, then this Allah, who can preserve the bodies for 300 years, is definitely qadir. He is capable of resurrecting us with our bodies on the day of Qiyamah. So my respected brothers and brothers, this in brief is the story of the people of the cave, the youngsters who went to the cave to safeguard their iman. In this, there is many a lesson for us, especially the youngsters, and many a lesson for us. So let us try to take heed of these lessons, take these lessons seriously and implement them in our lives, and we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us, show us the right path. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard us from the fitna of Dajjal and all other fitnas and all other Dajjali fitnas that are prevalent in the world today. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us with iman, give us death in the state of iman, and resurrect us on the day of Qiyamah in the state of iman. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. أما بعد فيا عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي أولا بتقوى الله كل وقت ومكان ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان فإنه لكم عدو مبين ومن يتبع الله ورسوله فأولئك هم المفلحون. وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن المجيد نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من حفظ 10 آيات من أول سورة الكهف عصم من الدجال أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن المجيد ونفعني وإياكم بالآية والذكر الحكيم. أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كما أمر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد فيا عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله وأحذركم يوما عبوسا قمطريرا. وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن المجيد إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذريته. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر وأشدهم في أمر الله عمر وأصدقهم حياء عثمان وأقضاهم علي وفاطمة سيدة نساء أهل الجنة والحسن والحسين سيدا شباب أهل الجنة والحمزة أسد الله وأسد رسوله رضي الله عنهم وعن كل الصحابة أجمعين. اللهم اغفر للعباس وولده مغفرة ظاهرة وباطنة لا يغادر ذنبا. الله في أصحابي لا تتخذوهم غرضا من بعدي فمن أحبهم فبحب أحبهم ومن أبغضهم فببغض أبغضهم وخير أمتي قرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك قريب مجيب الدعوات. اللهم أيد الإسلام وأنصاره وأذل الشرك وأشراره. اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى فاجعل آخرتنا خيرا من الأولى. اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. وقال تعالى فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون. أقيموا الصلاة.